Hey everyone, Cerebral Tackle with you again here this evening. You know, with all the different things going on in Bassmasters Opens and Elite Series and MLF concerning guys fighting on the water over who owns that little piece of real estate at the moment, I thought I would share with you a real life story that happened to me and a fishing partner of mine here just a few years back. We were fishing a night tournament on one of our favorite lakes during a bass club tournament, right? This lake had one particular lit dock that is freaking amazing. Now, it's not a very big dock. And when I mean amazing, I'm talking in the previous 2 weekends leading up to this tournament, each weekend, that dadgum dock produced 3 fish over 7 pounds each consecutive freaking weekend. I'm not talking about 1 bass one weekend, 1 bass the next, 1 the third. I'm talking 3 each freaking weekend. Now you might think a dock like this would be a public spot, really popular, a lot of people know about it. Not at all. It was only known by a handful of people who had scanned it thoroughly. We'd been sitting up on it, watching it, no one else was fishing it. So, on the night of the tournament, we got there early, set up, waited for the sun to go down, and proceeded to pick this dock apart. Now, we happened to hear a motor off in the background because this little cove is kind of secluded, right? We look out at the mouth of the cove, and I'm talking way out towards the mouth where it connects with Main Lake. And we see a boat go to pass us, and then they stop. And you can tell they're looking in there, and they see a pair of lights, or navigation lights, fishing a dock. So what do? They back up and turn in to come right on top of us. Again, this isn't a big dock, and there's not room enough for 2 boats. Sure enough, this boat idles all the way in and right on top of us. Now, the way you fish an underwater pool light like this one had is, you back off from it, you throw past it and drag through it, or to the sides and drag past. Whatever you do, you don't pull right up on top of it. These 2 clowns, you could tell, weren't used to fishing pool lights and didn't know what the hell they were doing. They be right down on top of us, and they start crossing right over our lines, right through the middle of the freaking light. It took a little while, but after a little while, my partner started to get a bit agitated. He was the owner of the boat, he was the man in charge, and he was starting to get pissed. Trust me, I was irritated too, but I was trying to keep my hole shut because once I get started, I have a hard time putting a cap on it. The first couple of hints were gentle. Like, hey guys, there are other lit docks. We're kind of in a tournament here. We've got this going. We were kind of here first. Can you please not fish right on top of us? The first couple of hints, we knew they heard us. They just ignored us. The next couple of hints my partner threw out weren't so subtle. Like, hey guys, we would really super appreciate if you moved on. We were here first. We're in a tournament. You're crossing our lines. Can you kind of just be respectful and back the hell off? So after the first few rounds of hints, these guys had had enough of subtlety. They start cussing at us. What, you think you own the whole effing lake? No, we don't, but it's a small enclosed area. We were here first. Now you're fishing on top of us and crossing our lines. No, we don't own the lake. We just have a little thing called common courtesy. They kept on and on and on, asking us if we own property on the lake, like that matters. We didn't own property. We asked them if they owned property. Guess what? They didn't either. So what the hell that had to do with the price of tea in China, who the hell knows? But it kept going on back and forth between my partner and those 2 guys. And it was getting heated. Talking about them coming across and kicking our ass and yada, yada, yada. Honest to goodness, I swear, I thought shots were going to end up fired. I was trying to find a way to subtly let my wife know what our coordinates were so she could at least find the bodies at the end of the tournament. Then for about 30 to 45 minutes came the silent treatment, where they refused to say a word and just continued to throw over us, even yanking when they would cross our lines and feel their bait come across our lines. I mean being real jerk-offs. Now in some areas of the country, that can get a person shot. And let me tell you, my partner was steamed. Now, a little hint, when I'm the cool, collected one in the back of the boat, you know things have went off the rails. And let me tell you, they were well off the tracks. So, we held our ground, did our best to kind of block what positioning we could to try to make the minimal effect of their rudeness on our fishing situation. We did all we could. They kind of went to this quiet phase where they just kind of didn't say anything to 30 or 45 minutes, even though we tried our best to reach out and tried to de-escalate the situation. Finally, after several minutes more passed, one of them chimed up and says, "Well, if you say you know all these other spots, can you tell us one?" My partner's like, "Of course, I offered to in the beginning. I know another pool out I can send you to right now." "Okay, well, fine. We'll take it. Tell us where to go." So my partner says, "Okay, go out to the main lake here, hit the mouth of the cove, take a left, go down about 3 coves, take another left into that one, and about 4 docks down on that left-hand side, you'll see another pool light. It holds fish. Go back there, have a good time." The two guys talked it over for a couple of minutes, finally decided, yeah, they'll do exactly that. They pulled up their trolling motor, idled out to the main lake, took a left, and went on down the direction we sent them. It's at this point my partner had a funny reaction. He started to chuckle, and it became more of a maniacal laugh. I'm thinking, what am I missing here? So I asked him, "What's this about? We just got into this heated argument. What's so funny?" He said, "Well, I can't wait for them to go into the next pull out and get on top of Jack. He's really going to be pissed, and he ain't going to take this ass." I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? What does Jack have to do with this? He goes, "Well, he was heading for that pull light whenever we passed up that cove coming down here to ours. I saw him sitting on it getting ready for dark." Now, while the names of the innocent have been changed to protect their identity, Jack is a very good dude. Like him a lot. However, if you get him pissed, yeah, you might want to clear some space. I guess this was my partner's not so subtle way of saying, hey, when you roll up on somebody that's already sitting on a spot, leave them be. They had just had that interaction with us, and if Jack was still in that spot like we suspected he might be, well, they were going to learn that important lesson from him too. However, I wasn't expecting my buddy to play this prank on Jack. Therefore, I damn near laughed myself out of the back of the boat. The little prank was a very funny way to break the awkward tension that had just occurred for quite some time. I could not wait until the next day to call up Jack to see how his night went. So I called up Jack, got him on the phone. I'm like, "Man, we had the weirdest situation. These two guys came blazing in there like a couple of pricks, yada, yada, yada." And said, "Yeah, we just sent them on down the lake." And he goes, "What time was this?" And I told him, he goes, "That's funny. A couple of real a-holes coming on top of me at about that time. Isn't that weird?" I couldn't hold it. I lost my crap laughing. He's like, "Oh, really? So did you and so-and-so send them my way?" I said, "Leave me out of it. I didn't have that conversation." He's like, "All right, I'll remember this for the next time." We both laughed. In hindsight, he thought it was funny. According to him, the guys came in on top of him kind of hot and heavy, saw him fishing there. He just looked up at him, gave him a look, and at this point in the night, they had had enough, and they just kept on rolling. I don't know if it was the look on his face that they could tell something was about to pop off again. Either way, they had had their fill, and they moved on and tried to find their own freaking water. Not a bent pole pattern, not somebody giving them something. They had to go find their own water. Imagine that. Anyway, I've had some really rude and awkward situations on the water with dock owners and other boaters, but this was one of the top ones because, I mean, it got freaking right down heated. But at the end of the night, everybody survived, no shots fired, everybody went home safe, and we did pretty freaking good during that tournament. It just goes to show you, all this hole fighting with people being there first, having pre-fished the water, knowing about it, and other people coming in on top of you, it can happen in the big leagues all the way down to the club levels. Trust me, it's not about ego, it's about practicing. And when you see guys that aren't even going to turn in and fish, see somebody fishing there thinking, oh, the spot must be good, a couple of guys are fishing it, and they roll in on top of you, that's just rude where I come from, and we don't do it. So these two guys found out the hard way, not once, but twice. Anyway, crazy story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Please comment, like, share, subscribe on the way out the door. Get your gear together. Get you a nice little night tournament going on, or hey, just break out for a weekend and find you a nice night lake to set up a line. But what's most important, get out there, keep it wet.